welcome back. Right, as you can see, today I am playing Gauntlet, the first Gauntlet, not Gauntlet 2, which was the one I actually had back in the day. I've never played US Gold's version of Gauntlet, which I have 2 copies of. Now, it's been a faff getting this to load. You load all the way up to the character selection screen, then you got to start the tape again, then another bit loads, and then it tells you to turn the tape over, rewind the start of side 2, and then load the actual game in. Now the keys are a bit of a pain as well, and they're non-redefinable, so it's 1 and Q up and down, S and D for left and right, Z to fire, and cap shift to do use your magic. Now I've using a +2 for this, so just if you've got one, just try and get your fingers into that configuration and you'll see what I mean, how difficult it is. Now I used to play this game Gauntlet 2 an awful lot with my mate David. It really was a cracking conversion, and you know, this is the same. I've just selected Thor the Warrior. Obviously there was an elf, a wizard, and a big knockered woman that you could select as well, and the aim of it is basically to go around and escape the dungeons. Everyone knows Gauntlet. I don't need to tell you what Gauntlet's about, do I? Bloody hell. Now I'm really enjoying it. You know, the Spectrum version looks a bit sort of basic, but I always thought Gauntlet 2 at least played a really good game of Gauntlet, and we used to have it on, not the Spectrum version, but we used to have it on Xbox 360, and it got a fair load of play then. But you know, I remember it being really successful on the 8-bits. I don't know how the other versions fared, but I think the Spectrum version reviewed really well, and I can sort of understand why. Now the only pain in the arse with this is, of course, the keys. I don't know why it's not redefinable, because it really does make the game trickier than it needs to be. I should also really invest in a joystick at some point. I keep saying that, but I still haven't got round to it, but I will. Right, and I need that, don't I? Yes. Oh, so I'm having to constantly sort of keep my eyes on the keys as opposed to the game. Now look how much is moving around on the screen there. That is really impressive. Despite the graphics looking sort of basic, you know, it really is a good game. So where all those sort of like bones are, that's the sort of ghost generator. If you wipe those out, no more ghosts can sort of generate, and you get food that you can pick up and spells you can cast, and there's a variety of different bad guys throughout the levels. Right, I'm gonna have to, oh come on. Now I am really enjoying this, even though it's tricky to play. Come on. The sound is quite basic, but what does it need to be really? This is a Spectrum after all. But you would have thought there might be a sort of tune or something playing. Now, as and when the Spectrum Next is released, wouldn't it be great to have a sort of Spectrum Next version of Gauntlet for the Specky, with some fantastic colours, great sound, etc. Where am I now? Right, level. Okay, right. So you see things starting to get a little bit more sort of complex graphically, and you got these people. I think these are the ones that can throw things over walls. Don't know. Right, so if I destroy the sort of generator, that means no more of them can sort of come. Now remember, the arcade game was full of speech, wasn't it? Did you play it much? How did you think the Spectrum version compared to the arcade game? You know, it's one of the most famous arcade games of all time. 4-player play. I never played it 4-player. Played a couple of players a few times. And the Specky version, me and my mate David, we used to play a lot. He had Gauntlet 2 on his Amstrad, and we used to play that as well. Come on. Oh, balls. Dead. Deed. Right, okay. No, I'll just go for that. Just Oh, Z is. Right, okay. Haven't got to start the tape again, have I? No, I haven't, right. Yeah, really enjoying this. It's a great sort of throwback to the past. I've got to buy joysticks soon. Well, I've got a joystick. I just haven't got one that's compatible for the Plus 2. I've got a Quick Shot 2, which is... Back in the day, I had a Cheetah 125 Plus, which I loved. Come on! Who are you going to call? Yeah. Oh, I ain't going up there. Look at how many of them are up there. Flipping all right. I'll go to exit to level 4. Yeah, so I've already asked the question, haven't I? What are your memories of this game? Did you like it? Did you loathe it? Right. Could you have taken it or left it? Have you ever played it? You know, the Spectrum version. Spectrum has some brilliant arcade conversions. This, I think, is one of them. And it also has some utter shite. Kung Fu Master looking at you there. What's your favourite arcade conversion on the Spectrum? Who's that? Oh, I think I've pressed a button to start a 2-player. Get out of it! You can piss off and all. What's your favourite arcade conversion on the Spectrum? Now, like I said, there are some... I can't go anywhere now because I've accidentally pressed the button to get a second player in the game. And look, now I can't do anything. What a knob! Oh well, hey ho. I'll bring this review to an end then. Yeah, really enjoyed that Spectrum version of Gauntlet. First time I've ever played that. Like I said, Gauntlet 2 was the one that I had. If you like the video, please let me know. If you wish to subscribe, please do so. It's going to be great fun to see you and interact with you. If you are going to subscribe, please make sure you do just that. You interact, join in some discussions, etc. Anyway, that's the end of that. See you later. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.